Warning. This program may contain material of an explicit or graphic nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Broadcasting undead from the B ward, this is Mortem. I'm Dom.
And I'm JD, and today we're going to give you our top 5 TV horror episodes.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a horror TV show, just a horror episode. But I went with mainly horror TV shows.
I actually don't have that many horror TV shows. I have a mixed bag, actually.
A mixed bag.
I have a couple fucking
mixed
weird
nuts.
pulls, though.
Got a cashew, a macadamia.
It's right. A Brazil nut and a peanut.
Yeah, this is a good list for me. I was able to revisit a bunch of shit I hadn't seen for years.
I discovered something that I didn't know existed.
Really?
Yeah, and I watched it, and it made my list.
Awesome.
And it was from a source that you would never expect.
Cool.
Ah.
Is it Home Improvement?
No, it's weirder than that.
That little Doom mod with all the every texture is Tim Allen.
That's the best Doom mod ever.
Yeah, so this is our last show before the live show. This is 39.
Yeah.
We're less than a week away from the first ever Postmortem live show.
The number 40, our Horty 40 is going to be our...
the Morty 40.
The Morty 40, I like that.
And we're going to bring you on our live show. We got some updates for you, in addition to our top 5 list, which is super secret.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you. You got to come to the show or hear the rebroadcast on the episode 40. But
or be a psychic.
Yes,
one of the
be a
three.
Psychic, yes. But visually aided. There's going to be pictures and things. Imagery. And those images will be uploaded to the website for you to, if you're out of the area, if you're not going to make it to the live show, you will be able to...
suck.
Yeah, if you just suck and you just don't come, well, fuck you. But those will be for your viewing pleasure up on our website with episode 40. And we're going to give you the Mortys. The 2016 Morty Awards. The year-end awards.
Best and worst movies.
What if the best horror movie comes out in December?
Fuck. You know what? What we should do is December of 2016 could carry over into 2017.
Yeah. After we record the episode,
yeah,
then we can still pull it. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can pack that fucker and make this a regular occurrence. You know, do it on the quarter, twice a year, or something like that.
On the fortnight.
On the fortnight?
I don't actually know what a fortnight is.
Me neither.
Yeah.
But before we get into our top 5 horror TV episodes and Dom and JD at the movies, we got some horror news for you. Horror news. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, a trailer is out for a January 2000. So,
try it again.
I'm going to try it again. I'm going to rewind.
Kill yourself.
Like Ace Ventura in a tutu. I'm going to go backwards. A new trailer is out for a January 2017 release called Split. You hear about this?
No.
A man with 23 personalities abducts and holds captive 3 teenage girls. As they are detained, they meet his various personalities, and a final personality named the Beast begins to materialize.
What if all of the personalities are just manifestations of the girls that he kidnapped? Like he hasn't kidnapped anyone, just some of his extra personalities.
He's kidnapped his other personalities.
Yeah. That'd be a good movie.
Yeah.
Shit. I didn't ruin the twist.
I saw the trailer. It looks good and crazy. I do not think that's what it is because there's actual girls that he's talking to. And I was looking forward to it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. 23 personalities. Then I got to the end of the trailer and it said, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Fuck.
His movies are historically bad, but I did like Devil. That's probably his best recent one.
I think he just produced Devil, though. I don't think he actually wrote and directed it.
Really?
Yeah. I liked Unbreakable, and I liked
Unbreakable's
Sixth
cool.
Sense.
Sixth Sense, we all can agree, was an awesome movie ahead of its time, like a unique concept.
I went back and watched Signs, and it wasn't as bad as I remembered it.
I like Signs, but most of his shit's horrible.
Yeah. Fuck The Village.
The Village.
Fuck. I was so mad. I saw The Village in the theater, and I was expecting something nice and Lovecraftian and fucked up, and then The Village happens, and I walked out of that movie, and I was in Santa Barbara. I walked out of the movie theater onto the sidewalk, and I kind of looked around, and I held my fists up to the sky, and I screamed, "Fuck M. Night Shyamalan!"
You know what? The Village and The Witch have a lot in common.
They both suck.
Yeah, not just the period pieces, but they gave me the same feeling.
Period.
Something's gonna happen.
Period piece like bloody stained underwear.
Yeah. Something has to happen, right? Something's gonna happen. People say this is good. People are excited about it. There's got to be something redeeming here. And then you get through, and then the credits hit, and you're waiting after the credits for something to happen, and nothing happens.
Nothing happens, and then the usher comes. It's like the end of that show, The Critic. The usher's like, "Sir, it's time to go home," and you're like, "I can't get out of the chair."
I love The Critic.
That was a great show.
Yeah, so that's all I got to say about M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
It's funny that you mentioned The Witch, because my first piece of news is about the director of The Witch.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, Robert Eggers, director and writer of The Witch, is remaking Nosferatu.
Is that the one with Doug Jones, though? Doug Jones is in a Nosferatu remake.
There wasn't specifications, but that... I
bet it's separate.
I'm on the fence about this, because he did have a good visual style. I will give him that. Just everything that the visual style encapsulated sucked. So if he could, put his visual style to a good... and not fuck up the Nosferatu script, that script's already written for him.
Yeah.
It's called Bram Stoker's fucking Dracula.
Yeah.
And if that's the Doug Jones version, if Doug Jones is in that, then I'm more on the, okay, this is going to be alright side of things.
Nope, it is not the same one. I'm looking it up right now. Nosferatu 2016, starring Doug Jones, is directed by David Lee Fisher. So,
David Lee Roth?
David Lee Fisher. Oh. Ow! Might as well fish.
Running with the fishing pole!
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the Doug Jones version. Doug Jones is Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Perfect actor.
He's going to own it.
But yeah, fuck. I don't know about Mr. Eggers. Sugar in water.
Edgar, your skin's falling off your bones.
Yeah. So
I'll give it a chance. I'll see what he does with it.
Yeah. But I'd rather see the Doug Jones version.
Yeah.
We don't need 2 Nosferatus in 1 year.
That's like not Nosferatu 4 now.
Yeah.
There's already 2 in existence.
Yeah. So, in most recent Saturday Night Live, Dave Chappelle hosted and did a skit based on The Walking Dead's Negan scene with the bat. Where he goes around and you don't know who he's going to kill, and they do that cliffhanger. Well, Dave Chappelle did that. He was Negan, and he played every other character. And the characters that he was going to kill were all Chappelle's Show old school characters. Tyrone Biggums, the crackhead.
Yeah.
The player haters, Little John, and Clayton Bigsby, the blind black white supremacist.
Oh, shit.
Or the people he was going to kill. It's loosely horror news related since it's a comedy, but if you're a fan of Chappelle's Show and The Walking Dead, you should check it out. They posted the whole skit on Facebook on Saturday Night Live.
I'll have to hit that and watch that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It
was
the best Saturday Night Live in a
he
while.
was hosting. It's good to see he's kind of coming back a little bit.
For sure.
We don't need another Chappelle Show. I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him do other things.
He's kind of jacked now.
Yeah?
He's not all skinny.
Nice.
Like he's got muscles.
I want to see a sequel to Half Baked. That's what I want.
Full baked.
Fully baked. with Dr. Quadruple Decker.
Jim Breuer's not doing much this day,
Yeah.
so I think we can make that one happen. What else you got this week?
So, we'd already said in past horror news that HBO has acquired the rights for the Beware the Slender Man documentary. They have a release date.
Awesome.
January 23rd, 2017. It will be debuting on HBO.
The day after my birthday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's your birthday present from HBO.
That's not enough.
Yeah.
We need more.
Yeah.
HBO.
Put you on an episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Game of Thrones, I'll be just one of the people saying, shame. Shame.
Throwing barbed wire wrapped tomatoes at her.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that documentary.
I am super stoked on it. I've been reading more on that case, just because it interests me just on a psychological level, and I really want to see what they do with the documentary. And the art that they released is awesome. It's like 2 little girls walking, holding hands with the Slender Man.
Yeah.
And it's like this cracked black and white style of art.
That's cool. Yeah. They're, you know, the everything they put their name on is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sopranos, Game of Thrones,
yeah.
The Wire, all that shit.
Yeah, HBO hasn't really fucked us yet. So
yeah.
Hopefully this isn't the time.
All right. Well, my last bit of news. You talked a little bit about King Kong Skull Island in one of our last segments, and the potential for a future King Kong versus Godzilla movie, similar to the awesome 80s Nintendo game Rampage.
Right.
But they may be a little too late, because already set a date for release, April 20th, 2018, the film adaptation of Rampage will be hitting the theaters.
Really?
Yes. Also, it will be starring The Rock.
Really? Well, we know we both didn't make it. So, unless it comes out and it sucks, and at the end of the movie the credits start rolling, and we both bust through it like fucking Porky Pig, and he's like, "Fooled you!
Fooled you!" Already confirmed, George, Lizzie, and Ralph. Yeah. All three going to be in it. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
I smell it, and it smells like a werewolf, a lizard, and a gorilla.
That's probably a bad combination of smells.
Sneaky mix, yeah.
And if you got ooey in there too, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Rancid odor.
I smell disgusting things all day. I think that would smell worse than that.
Ooey smells like a rancid bratwurst.
Like a bratwurst that's been like sitting in a pile of sewage for a week.
Somebody took a shit on a bratwurst and threw it behind the radiator, where it congealed.
It got
like a science project. Developing new forms of life.
Fecal petri dishes is our rating system.
There you go, fecal petri dish. Petri, if you're formal.
Right.
Petri dish. I put it in a Petri. Anyways.
I got one last thing. Season 2 of Stranger Things has gone into production.
Yeah.
Sean Astin and Paul Reiser are joining the cast. Astin will be playing the former high school nerd turned Radio Shack manager, who's friends with Winona Ryder's character and the police detective. And this is what has me excited. Paul Reiser will be playing a shady government operative trying to cover up the events of the first season.
Well, Paul Reiser.
He's perfect for that.
Yeah, Aliens, he was good.
Yeah.
Mad About You? My favorite show ever. Just joking. Fuck that.
I don't know if I've ever even seen an episode of it.
It has Helen Hunt and Paul Reiser in a romantic sitcom.
Wow.
Why am I talking about this right now?
That sounds...
I'm exposing myself for my knowledge of Mad About You. I just remember some fucking... Either it was The Simpsons or maybe it was The Critic, where he's like watching that on TV, like, this is horrible. He's like, oh, I'm mad about you, honey.
Okay.
Paul Reiser.
Well, he plays a good scumbag. And he plays a good scumbag in an 80s setting.
Yeah, and Helen Hunt rode a quadriplegic guy. You ever see that?
No.
She's butt-ass naked. There's this movie that she's in. She has full nude scene.
Uh-huh.
And fucks a quadriplegic guy.
Really?
Or a guy with, I might not be politically correct with my different impairments.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's like cerebral palsy. He's not quadriplegic. He just got that thing where he's like kind of like he's got the chicken wing going on.
Oh,
like the Donald Trump reporter.
Right.
Yeah,
cerebral palsy.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's got that going on. And
so Helen Hunt bangs a dude with CP in the movie?
in her 50s. And then goes butt naked.
I can factor that.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Every time I think about Helen Hunt, I think of ice cream, because my mom has these ice cream dishes that Helen Hunt designed. And, like, after you get to, like, eat the ice cream and get to the bottom of it, you see Helen Hunt's, like, signature in the porcelain that
That's
they're made
the ultimate white person thing.
It's
my Helen Hunt ice cream dish.
Yeah, and they have, like, doll faces on the dishes. That's, like, how they're designed.
Way better than fecal petri dishes. Helen Hunt ice cream dishes. What the fuck? She's still looking good, though.
Yeah. Well, Season 2 of Stranger Things is set to air in 2017 with a 9-episode run. No release date yet.
Guest starring Helen Hunt as well.
Helen Hunt's ice cream dishes.
Alright, that's it for our horror news.
We got a At the Movies with
a
movie that I was surprised by.
Me too.
Yeah.
Ouija.
Yeah.
Ouija. Wedgie.
Luigi board. Luigi board.
Luigi board. We should put that in the comments of this episode. That fucking. You guys need to check this out on YouTube. There's this guy that reads people's like Yahoo questions
and stupid
about the Ouija board, and people put like Luigi board and all this fucking wedgie board, all this fucking bullshit. But
can you burn Luigi board?
Can you burn Luigi board? Exactly. So after this, we'll be back. Dom and JD at the movies. Ouija, Origin of Evil.
Hi, thanks for listening to the Postmortem Podcast. If you want to support us, go to our website at www.postmortemshow.com and click the Amazon link.
By clicking on the Amazon banner, Amazon will give a small percentage of the purchase price of your item back to the Postmortem Podcast at no additional cost to you. That's right. It doesn't cost you any money. We get money. You want us to keep doing this? You want more Doug Jones talk? You want more dick and fart talk? I don't care. We're going to do it.
Fund our filthy, filthy habits.
Yes, and they are many and they are fast.
And most of them aren't legal.
Yes. Click the banner. Just do it.
Come on, don't be a dick. Give us money.
Let's go down to the movies with Dom and JD, the Blood Boobies, and Doug Jones.
Psychos, monsters, bloody slashes, maniacs, and tits and asses, chainsaws, knives, and facial bashes on Postmortem.
Let's go down to the movies with Dom and JD for some more Doug Jones.
No, Doug Jones.
Yeah, we went to the movies and we saw 2016, directed by Mike Flanagan, starring Elizabeth Reaser,
Yeah.
Lulu Wilson, and Annalise Basso. Ouija, Origin of Evil.
They did it.
They did it.
They made a fucking Ouija board movie that didn't suck.
Yeah.
It took Mike Flanagan. It's not his best movie, but it's definitely the best Ouija board movie to date.
It definitely is, yeah. It's a prequel to the horrible 2014 movie.
Fucking horrible. I actually watched it. I went and watched it.
You haven't seen it before?
No, I
saw it and I was just like, why the fuck is he doing this, you know?
Yeah.
But maybe he just wanted to prove himself. Like, hey, I know how bad this movie sucks. I'm going to make the other one. It's going to be better.
He did.
Trust me. Just trust me. You guys can trust me, right?
Yeah. And he went and made the best fucking Ouija board movie ever made.
It's true.
And I'll tell you why in a minute.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it's the best Ouija board movie ever made.
It's a prequel to the horrible 2014 movie, period piece set in 1965 Los Angeles, where a widowed mother and her two daughters add a new stunt to bolster their seance scam business and unwittingly invite authentic evil into their home. When the youngest daughter is overtaken by a merciless spirit, the family confronts unthinkable fears to save her and send her possessor back to the other side.
You go back to hell!
You go to hell and you die.
Kane? This movie felt like it merged the worlds of that shitty Ouija movie and Oculus. Like they felt like they existed in the same universe.
It definitely has Mike Flanagan's visual style.
Yeah,
and that's
the wide-eyed ghosts and all that.
Yeah, that was one of the best parts of it. So, as we said in one of our previous horror news segment, we would have never given this fucking movie the time of day if it wasn't for the attachment of Mike Flanagan, who directed Oculus, Hush, and Before I Wake. Dom is known for his hatred of Ouija board horror, even though he subjects himself to bullshit like Ouija Experiment 2, which I would never watch.
Yeah.
And so I knew, I figured, even after I watched it, and I liked it, I did like it, and even being PG-13, even though I liked it, I'm like, let's see what Dom has to say.
No. I went in with an open mind, and I'm glad that I watched it. Mike Flanagan, I'm going to go down and say that he is the best American horror director of the 2010s.
Yeah, he's pretty up there. Yeah, he's consistent. He's pretty consistent. I mean, Hush. A lot of people like Hush a lot, and to me, that was his. I like this more than Hush.
He does Supernatural better than non-Supernatural for sure.
Yeah, I would say my favorite movies by him in order, if I had to rank his movies, Before I Wake would be my favorite so far, and then probably a tie with Oculus and this one. Maybe Oculus a little bit more, and then this one, and then Hush.
I think Oculus is still my favorite. Have you seen Absentia?
No, is that it?
It was his first movie.
Oh, okay. No, I
And
understand.
it's really good, and it's basically in the same world as Oculus, and I think this.
Is it on Netflix? I think I've seen that.
I think it is on Netflix.
I'll have to check that one out. Maybe I'll review it after episode 41, after the live show.
Yeah, it's a good movie. What made this movie so good was that it was a strong ghost story in and of itself without the Ouija board.
For sure.
And it turned a lot of the tropes on the ear. Like, you thought that it was going to be a shitty exorcism movie, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, and like, when they were going to split up, they're like, no, that's fucking stupid. Let's not split up.
Yeah.
But the thing that made it really, really good was that the use of the Ouija board was perfect because the board itself was not anything supernatural.
Yeah, it's the best part is that the Ouija board is a small piece. It's more of a haunted house and ghost story.
Yeah.
It delivers the creepiness, the jump scares, as well as the good grand reveal and backstory.
Yeah.
Like, the last act of the movie is my favorite part, probably.
Yeah, and they established the characters in the beginning really
Yeah.
well. Like, when I saw it, because the mom in the movie, she's in the Twilight movies, and I fucking hated her in the Twilight movies.
Yeah.
And when I saw her, I was like, oh, fuck this.
She delivers, though.
She was good.
Yeah, she was good. The kids are good, too.
Yeah, the
especially
little
the
girl.
older one. The older one I thought was a better actress. The little
Yeah.
one delivers on the creepiness, but so much of that is effects, and she's not really acting too much,
Right.
you know? But the older sister I thought was really good.
But the little girl wasn't annoying. Like,
No,
sometimes
she
that's
was
as
good,
much as
so.
you can ask from a little kid actor.
Yeah.
But what I also liked was that the Ouija board was just a vehicle for the little girl's abilities.
Yeah.
And that it played with the psychology behind the Ouija board in the sense that and that psychology was brought into the supernatural realm. In
With
the
the
sense,
rules, the Ouija board rules.
But it was all bullshit.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing of her controlling the Ouija board psychically was the same way that the Ouija board actually works, is that, you know, the Ouija board, when you're playing with it, it just plays on what you're going to answer already.
Yeah.
And that's all she was doing. Like, she was the hoax.
Yeah, and you know what? It kind of, there was a little disconnect in that. In the opening, the older sister goes to like a sleepover,
Yeah.
and they do the Ouija board, you know,
Yeah.
and she doesn't say goodbye or whatever the rule is
Yeah.
and everything. But the thing is, she's not the one who is possessed or
Right.
haunted. It's the little sister.
Yeah.
So there was kind of a disconnect there for me. That was probably the worst part about the movie, is that the Ouija board originated in a non-related plot to where the girl got kicked out, the mom had to come, and the little sister was asleep in the car. You could see her asleep.
I thought that was kind of smart, though, because it played with the tropes of all the shitty movies. Like, you
Yeah.
thought it was going to be that shitty movie,
Yeah.
and then he was like, nope.
That's true. That is true. It was like a tease. Like, you thought maybe it was going to be her.
Yeah.
But it was the little sister.
Yeah, like when they first brought it out, and as soon as they're like, you have to say goodbye at the end, I audibly groaned.
Yeah.
And then when it didn't happen, I was like, Mike Flanagan, I will have your babies.
He's proven to be a good director who can turn a bullshit concept like the Ouija board horror and turn it into bullshit aid.
Yeah.
Turn bullshit to bullshit aid.
Yeah, he definitely turned that chicken shit into chicken salad.
That being said, I bet a lot of people who would enjoy this movie will be avoiding it based on the previous movie and the title.
Yeah.
It's as good or better than films like Insidious and The Conjuring to me. Like, it's
It's better than all those. Yeah.
I really think it is.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people are going to give it the chance, and I wouldn't have to if I didn't know that Mike Flanagan was directing
Right.
it, and we hadn't, reviewed his movies and seen his movies in the
Yeah, we
past. We
didn't
talked
know
about it
how
on the
good he
show.
That's going to be one of those ones where when we talk to our friends about it, they're going to be like, really? And be like,
Yeah.
no.
Or even
give it a
listening to this episode,
Yeah.
one of our listeners listening to this episode will be like, really, you guys like Ouija Origin of Evil? But give it a chance, because I would have never, ever watched this movie if it wasn't for this show.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for us doing our research in horror news and finding out that Mac Flanagan was attached to it and was directing it and saying he's going to blow it out of the water and everything,
Yeah.
and setting out, he actually had a mission. He set out to prove a point, saying that PG-13 horror can be scary,
Yeah.
with Before I Wake and with this, saying that, like, no, I could do both.
Yeah.
We can do gore, we can do Oculus, or we can do this.
Yeah.
And it could be PG-13. I actually watched it with Kaylee.
Nice.
She's going to be reviewing it on her show, too.
Nice. Yeah,
She enjoyed it.
He definitely pulled it out. And you know what else I thought was really cool was, like, the movie was set in the 60s, and when they started it with the Universal logo, they used the old Universal logo. And then when they had the Ouija title card in the beginning, they did it like it was a movie
Like the
from
old
the
school
60s.
movies, yeah.
Really good attention to detail there.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like that was the setting.
For sure. And while it wasn't groundbreaking, because we've seen blank eyes, wall crawling, and dislocated jaws before.
Yeah.
There's nothing new.
Did you know that Doug Jones was one of the ghosts?
No.
Yeah, he's one of the ghosts in the movie.
I'm gonna have to bump up my rating a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not groundbreaking, but it was way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
It blew me away with how good it was, all things considered.
He didn't have to make this movie. He did it, as you said, to prove a point.
Yeah.
And he fucking did it.
Yeah. And really, it cemented the fact, like you said, he's one of our great American... Well, he's not American, though. Isn't he, like, English or something?
Really?
He's one of...
Well,
don't worry about that.
If he is American, we'll take credit for it, damn it. This is America.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to trump it. So
I slam my tiny fist on the podium and make it so.
Yeah, it was way better than I thought it was going to be, and I recommend you guys see it. IMDb only gives it a 6.4, which is still pretty good for a modern-day horror movie. Most things are hovering around the 4 to 5 range for in-theater horror movies, besides, like, Don't Breathe and things like that got a higher rating. And I think that a lot of people are reviewing that and haven't even seen it. You know?
Right.
They just are reviewing it badly because of
what it
originally
yeah.
won and all that kind of stuff. But I got to go higher.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to say about it before we get into breaking down the ratings?
Nope.
So, I was going to give it a 7.2. But because of the involvement of Doug Jones, which I did not know about, but does make me understand why I liked it.
Yeah, it's like a subconscious thing.
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Wow.
What was the...
Fecal petri dishes?
No, but we changed it. Helen Hunt ice cream.
Helen Hunt ice cream dishes?
Ice cream scoopers.
Helen Hunt fecal dishes?
Helen Hunt's fecal ice cream.
Helen Hunt's fecal cream.
All right. Or something.
Something
involving Helen Hunt, science, and poop.
Yes. Helen Hunt poop science.
There we go. Helen Hunt's poop science. There we go. 7.5.
I was going to give it a 7 on its own merit. Like, if this was just a movie standing on its own and I didn't have any predisposition towards it, I'd have given it a 7. But since he did the impossible and made a good Ouija board movie, I'm actually going to bump it up to a full 8.
Wow. Full 8.
Yeah.
Dom rating an 8 for a Ouija board movie.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was elected president.
Cubs won the series.
Dom is fucking reviewing a Ouija board movie at an 8. We're all going to die.
Sorry, 2017. You're not coming.
Just let us get to the live show at least.
Yeah.
If the world can end after next Saturday.
Yeah, that's really the last thing I have planned right now. So,
yeah. All right. Well,
we'll do the live post-mortem of the apocalypse.
Live from the apocalypse.
The epicenter of the apocalypse is Leisure Time Games in Santa Maria, California.
I'll write a pale Biff into the apocalypse.
I was pulling stuff out of my car from after the show, and I saw some post-mortem for, live show posters in there. And as I was pulling them out, like, you know, you got the picture with all the Biffs on it, and I was like, there was a JD who had a dog, and Biffers was his name. Oh, BIFFers. And then I was singing it the rest of Friday night.
You know, I wonder what people... You know, you guys, our listeners that know about the show, you know we joke about my dog and his fucking Red Rocket and just the insanity that is this podcast. Not a traditional horror movie podcast by any means, but
it is what it is.
To an average person, these flyers are on liquor stores.
Yeah.
They're on video stores. Yeah. They're plastered all over the Central Coast.
College campuses.
Yeah, college campuses. To an average person that sees that picture, us in the straitjackets with a wall of Biffs behind that.
And the Red Rocket.
And the Red Rocket with the Morty on it. Like, what the fuck? What are they thinking?
It's like when they slip Illuminati symbolism into like an MTV music video.
I wonder if the hanging of posters, if it does draw anyone extra, other than our local fans and our local friends and everyone like that, what... That person that comes to that show, what's going in their mind? what's their mind frame? I'd like to have someone come that didn't research, didn't listen to old episodes, didn't go to the website, just saw the poster and said, "Yep, I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm there, bro."
What kind of sick individual?
All right.
It's like a human body with a Biff head walking in.
Biff walks in on, you know, like that commercial with the dogs in the trench coat. Biff walks in on top of Boomer's shoulders with the trench coat and a fucking top hat.
I'm here for the show.
All right, we'll be back with the top 5 horror TV episodes.
Yeah.
after this. We are proud to announce the first ever Post-Mortem live show, November 19th, 7 p.m. at the Santa Maria Town Center Mall.
That's right. Post-Mortem live and uncut like an uncircumcised baby.
Yes, indeed.
As opposed to a dead uncircumcised baby.
Yeah.
Or
a dead circumcised baby.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you beggars can't be choosers. Anyway, this show is happening at 159 Town Center East in Santa Maria, California. At the Santa Maria Town Center Mall.
Santa Maria Town Center Mall, main level. It's in Leisure Time Games. Leisure Time Games is a local comic book and trading card game store. Any kind of game other than video games that are gracious enough to host the first ever Post-Mortem live in front of an audience podcast.
They're going to regret this.
They may. Hey, he listens, so don't say that too loudly. We won't be coming at you undead from the B ward. We will be live.
And if you want to come watch JD get real drunk and me pop a bunch of pills and slam energy drinks.
Well, the problem is they don't allow beer in the mall, so I'm just going to have to drink heavily before.
Okay.
So I'll walk in trash.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, you guys, if you can come out, if you're anywhere in the Central California area, or if you want to fly in, it's a free show.
That's right. Not charging a dime for it.
November 19th.
Get what you pay for.
Yes, indeed. As always with Post-Mortem. And we're back with the top 5 horror TV episodes. TV episodes that have a horror element.
Yep.
Not necessarily a horror TV show. My list has a bunch.
Mine has 2.
My honorable mentions is full of non-horror shows.
Mm-hmm.
But
I went the other way. I focused on the horror shows for the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And went non-horror.
Cool. So we probably won't have much crossover.
Yeah.
But.
Oh, I know for a fact that you're not going to have one of mine on this list.
My number 5. I've showed you this. Because of our love for Doug Jones. We can't talk about him enough on the podcast, right?
Right.
He is endorsed for the Post-Mortem show. He said he loves us. He said he fell in love with Dom and JD.
Yeah.
And my number 5 is the episode I showed you of Fear itself, called Skin and Bones.
Yeah.
Where he plays Grady. He's possessed by the Wendigo.
Yeah.
And he's hungry.
And he's scary. Scary as fuck.
Fucking lanky Doug Jones with like long nails. He got trapped in the fucking mountains and has frostbite and everyone else died.
He had weird
made it
teeth
back.
too, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he had like sharp teeth. Yeah. He started becoming like a predator. Like
Yeah.
his nails were sharp, his teeth were sharp, and just the look on his face and stuff. And Doug Jones as an actor in that role, he fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
as
he
an
showed
actor.
that he's more than just a physical body presence.
Yeah, because he's I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
And the voice and shit, so great. And then there's a good subplot too with like his wife and his brother.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah,
then,
where they got married because
Yeah.
they were hooked up because they thought he was dead.
Yeah, and then the old Indian man. Just a great episode. Fear itself is actually it's Masters of Horror without the same name.
Yeah.
Same producers, everything, but when they left the original network and they took it to cable, they had to change the name, so they changed it to Fear itself. And it wasn't as good as Masters of Horror, in my opinion.
It didn't have the same budget. That's why.
Yeah, and it was more. It had to be more mainstream.
Yeah.
because it was on cable.
Right.
It wasn't on. What was the Master of Horror? Showtime.
Yeah,
HBO?
they couldn't get as extreme
Showtime?
with it.
Yeah. So, but it was still great, and that episode is the best one. Like the show itself, not as good, but that episode is good.
Yeah, it was definitely the
It's
pinnacle.
definitely scary
Yeah.
too. Definitely scary. So, all right, you're number 5.
My number 5 comes from a semi-horror TV show. It's an episode of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show called Hush. And this is...
Where they can't talk.
Yeah. This is the one that has like one of the most iconic things when you look up like Buffy images and stuff. The monsters in it were these... I think there was 5 of them. They were called the Gentlemen. And there were these guys in tuxedos.
And hey, Doug Jones, right?
I think Doug Jones was one of them.
Yeah.
And then they had these weird like gaunt zombie faces with no ears and noses and big crazy smiles.
Yeah.
And they have this box that steals everyone's voices. And so for the whole episode, there's no sound. And that's what makes it scary, is the absolute lack of sound and how they have to figure out how
I
to
never
communicate.
was a big fan of the Buffy show, but
I didn't like it when it was on TV because I'd only seen it in bits and pieces and I didn't know what was going
Yeah.
on. But like, when I was many years ago, when I was married, my wife and I were both sick at the same time. And we were sick as dogs. We were home for like a week, just trying to stay away from the world. And we marathoned it, and I got hooked into it. And it's actually, it's Joss Whedon. So, you know, it's the same guy who brought us Cabin in the Woods. And actually, he worked a lot with the guy who made Cabin in the Woods making that show.
The actual movie I liked way better than the show.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was Pee-wee.
At first, I liked the movie better, but after I've seen the show, I'm going to say the show is actually better than the movie. Because the show is what Joss Whedon actually wanted to make, and the movie is what the studio made him make.
Yeah.
But
like the whole Angel thing and that stuff is horrible, you know.
Angel was a good character on Buffy, but when he did the spin-off to the Angel show and had his own thing, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even finish that. But this episode, if you're gonna watch 2 episodes of Buffy, watch Hush because it's fucking great. And it's a good piece of artistic filmmaking. And of all things, watch Once More with Feeling. It's the episode that's a musical. This demon shows up and turns the world into a musical, and as people dance, they catch fire and die.
That's strange.
It's great. And like all of the songs are just making fun of how cheesy and campy musicals are.
Yeah.
It's good comedy. Hush is my favorite episode of Buffy, and very, very good TV episode.
Awesome. All right. Well, maybe I'll check that fucker out. It's on Amazon. Amazon Prime. The whole series is on there.
Yeah.
And I like to binge watch. And now that I'm completely done with Black Mirror,
yeah, I gotta watch the new season of that.
Dude, the new season is the best.
Nice.
There's 2 episodes on this. I'll get into that later.
Okay.
But Black Mirror is, dare I say, the best show ever.
Wow. That's putting a lot on it.
Yeah. It's not as good on the average, just like a show like Breaking Bad is, to where every episode, as you get on, is just fucking amazing.
Well, it's anthology. Everything's
it's anthology.
different. Yeah.
The ones that are so good are so fucking good.
The first 2 seasons were great. The Christmas episode was great.
Yeah, the Christmas one was good. The first season is not... The first episode where he has to fuck the pig, the Prime Minister, that's great. The rest of the first season, I didn't think was that great.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Number 2... better,
yeah,
but still a couple of them are not that great. Some of them are really good. The third season, they fucking upped the bar, dude.
Nice.
There's only 1 episode on the 3rd season I didn't like.
Wow.
So, and if you guys have heard, if you've seen the Black Mirror and you've seen the 3rd season, the one I didn't really care for was the lesbian time travel one. We'll leave it at that. But my number 4 is not Black Mirror. It's Tales from the Crypt. And all through the house. The guy dressed up like Santa Claus. And she kills the husband out in the snow, but then Santa Claus comes.
Yeah.
And just escaped mental patient in a Santa uniform. And her daughter's in there. She sees him. She's trying to hide the body. She puts her daughter to bed. Kills her husband. Cops are coming, all this stuff. She's trying to hide the body. And then she hears about the escaped mental patient. And then he comes and terrorizes her, and she kind of thinks that maybe this is good. I can say that he did it, for her husband. Ultimately, she's all safe, locks the door, everything's gonna go well, and her daughter comes down the stairs and says, "Hi, Mommy," and she says, "Go to bed. There's someone out there, blah blah blah." And she said, "Is it Santa Claus?" "Yes, it's Santa Claus." "It's all going to be okay, Mommy. You know why? Because Santa, you accidentally locked him out. But don't worry, because I let him in." And he walks around the corner, and she's holding hands with the fucking axe murderer in the Santa outfit. And then you get the scream for 5 minutes. Ah! Ah!
The long-ass early 90s scream.
Yeah. It's the most iconic Tales from the Crypt episode.
A great episode.
Yeah. And I could have put... I had to put a Tales from the Crypt on the list.
Yeah.
That's the one I chose. I like the guy who dies a bunch of times in the freak show.
That one's my favorite episode, actually.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. There's a bunch. The old man who pays the guy to start stealing like his arms. And
yeah.
And eventually they're opposite,
Yeah.
But yeah, Tales from the Crypt is one of those shows. It's very polarizing. Some of the episodes suck. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But a lot
It's
of them are
hit and
good.
miss.
Yeah, it's hit and miss, and I think Black Mirror is actually a stronger show of anthology shows.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
My number 4 is an episode of the show MASH. An old
MASH?
Yeah,
like the Vietnam?
The old Vietnam Army sitcom. Yeah. And this isn't my deepest, weirdest pull either. But it's an episode called Dreams, and this is the only episode of MASH to not have a laugh track.
Oh wow!
And so the plot of the story is that the surgery team that's like the main characters in MASH, they've been up for 3 days because
they're on meth.
they're all on meth. No, they've been up for 3 days because there's been like some major catastrophic attack happening, and there's just like soldiers coming in, and they keep having to do surgery and fix people. And as each of them take breaks and like kind of go in the back and like doze off and start having cat naps, they start having these weird, super gory, fucking abstract nightmares of like people covered in blood writhing on the ground and screaming, and this like woman in a bloody fucking bridal gown, and like it just gets darker and darker and darker as the episode goes. You can watch it on YouTube. I strongly recommend checking it out just standalone on its own.
Because I hate MASH.
Yeah, I don't like MASH either. But my parents watched it. And I always remembered, like, apparently this episode didn't air very many times because it was so dark.
Like what was that one with the British?
Yeah, that's actually my zero. Ghost watches my zero. But, this one didn't air too many times. And they literally don't use a laugh track on it because there was absolutely nowhere in this episode where it was even mildly appropriate, because it's all just fucking as much blood and gore as they could get away with on 1980s TV. And all the weird nightmares they were having. Great episode. And I remember seeing it as a little kid, and it stuck in my brain, but I kind of like, for a long time I thought like, okay, maybe I just fucking made that up. Like maybe my parents were watching something else and they just said it was MASH. And then when YouTube came about, I looked up like MASH gory nightmare.
So this wasn't your research, this is just from your mind, huh?
Right. This is just one that kind of sat with me. And stuck with me since I was a wee boy. Yeah, and it's fucked up.
Wow, I'll check it out, because if you like it and you hate MASH as much as I do, maybe it's worth a watch.
It's called Dream. Oh, I mean, if you want to see the characters of MASH get fucking psychologically tormented, it's like MASH goes to Silent Hill, for real.
Silent MASH.
Silent MASH. Mashy Hill.
All right, my number 3. I just talked about Black Mirror. It's current.
Yeah.
It just came out. I'm actually putting my number 3 from season 3 of Black Mirror.
Okay.
The episode Playtest. I don't want to spoil a lot since you haven't seen episode 3. So you got to kind of go to a gray area. I'm not going to talk much about my number 3, but there's a guy, an American, who gets paid in England. You know, he's trying to get back. And he gets paid to playtest a game where they put, Black Mirror is all in the future. There's technology involved in everything in Black Mirror.
Dark future stuff.
Dark future shit, yeah. And they put like a little implant in the back of his neck and basically make the ultimate virtual reality to where they're augmenting your reality. Like when, those augmented reality games like with your phone. It's like that, except for it's in your mind, so it's really right there. And in addition to that, it also studies your brain waves and what you're scared of, and you're in a scary place and you're wondering what's going to happen. So it's pulling your darkest fears and making things tailor-made to you. Like the game is made to your mind.
Wow, so it's like Total Recall on steroids.
Yeah, it's like completely made around your mind, around your fears. And I don't want to give a lot away, you guys. If you haven't seen season 3 of Black Mirror, you got to see that one. And then it's episode 2, I believe, of season 3. And then episode 3 is fucking awesome too. One of my favorites also. But this one, Playtest, it takes the cake. The graphics are amazing, and the atmosphere of it. You watch it with the lights off, you're gonna get jump scares like a horror movie. You're gonna get it's the most horror-oriented episode of Black Mirror, I would say. Because most of it's like Twilight Zone, that kind of thing. This is the most like horrific, like horror, jump scare and gore and all this kind of stuff that is like a horror movie of Black Mirror. So that's why I rank it my number 3. So
nice.
You got to check it out, even if you watch that one first before you watch the first episode or whatever. But
okay.
It's called Playtest.
I'll check it out. Yeah. My number 3 is my favorite episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's called The Tale of the Super Specs.
Yeah.
Where there's the kid. His name is Weeds for some reason, and he likes to play pranks on people.
Is he a MILF that lives in the suburbs?
No, he's a black kid.
Oh.
Big difference. But he
Pretty
likes,
close.
He likes to play tricks on people, and April Fool's is coming up, and he wants to plan the ultimate April Fool's joke. And he gets this like voodoo powder and is going to do something with it. And he takes his girlfriend to the magic shop with him when she thinks they're going on a date. And he's fucking around with the voodoo powder, and he throws it on some of those like cheap ass X-ray vision glasses. But then the girl puts them on, and suddenly she sees shadow people following her everywhere that she goes.
Oh wow, it's a nightmare, huh?
Yeah. And it's like, it's just people in fucking black bodysuits and a black mask.
Yeah.
But every time she puts them on, they're a little bit closer. And they're everywhere. And you suddenly realize that, like, everyone in this continuity and in this world is constantly being watched by these black shadow figures. And
Are You Afraid of the Dark is good.
Yeah. There were moments where it was like, oh, that's fucking terrible.
Gilbert Gottfried?
Yeah. But when it was on, it was fucking on. And
this
is one of those episodes that... It stuck with me when I saw it when I was a kid, and anytime it came on reruns, I got super excited. And so when I first tore into every episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark back in the day, I don't even know if they're out on DVD.
Yeah, I don't think so. But me and Kelly have watched quite a few of them.
That was the first one I went to and watched just to see if it was as good as I remembered it, and it is. Yeah, great show, and that's a spectacular episode of it.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Are You Afraid of the Dark. It's good shit. So
beats the fuck out of Goosebumps.
Yeah, I love Goosebumps too, though. The Sponge and stuff. Me and Kelly we binge watched the whole season of Goosebumps on Netflix. They have it on Netflix. The Goosebumps series. Yeah, it's nowhere near as good as Are You Afraid of the Dark, but we watched the whole thing and.
Because they showed Are You Afraid of the Dark at 9 o'clock on Saturday nights on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Like, they pushed some envelopes with it.
Yeah,
it was definitely meant for teenagers. Where Goosebumps was purely for kids.
Yeah. My number 2. Is the X-Files.
Okay.
The episode Home.
Yeah, that's on my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Great episode.
It's so good. It is like cannibal Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of thing. So fucking creepy.
Yeah, lots of violence in it, too.
Lots of violence, lots of gore. There's inbred plot lines. There's fucking...
Burying babies alive.
Digging up baby corpses on the baseball field. Little kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And fucking amputations and classic cars. It's got everything you want.
Yeah. They didn't fuck around with that episode. That was one that I believe only really aired once.
Yeah.
And then...
X-Files, really... the early X-Files, they had some good, scary horror episodes. You know? Back when, in my young years, it came out, what did it come out, like 94, 95?
Something like that.
I was born in 85, so I was like 10 years old when X-Files first premiered. Yeah. So that was like when I was starting to watch horror movies and shit, and I would watch that shit religiously. And when I saw Home, that was the best to me.
Yeah, that was a great episode. I remember watching it with my parents and just kind of sitting in the living room and being like, should I be watching this?
With the fucking roller, they roll her out.
Yeah.
She's like strapped down on like a gurney.
Yeah.
Just waiting to get banged by her fucking sons.
Yeah. Chris Carter went to dark places with that.
Yeah.
He eventually channeled that into Millennium.
Yeah.
And,
Millennium is fucking great. It's on my honorable mentions. I have the whole series if you want to watch it.
Yeah, I'd like to watch it again.
Yeah.
I know
it's good. It holds up.
Yeah, it didn't run very long because it was too dark.
Yeah, it's very dark and very slow and brooding and stuff. Just people don't... and the credits are so horrible.
Yeah.
The opening credits of Millennium, like, they look like you make it on, like, Windows Paint on 1993.
I look forward to seeing that again. I know they were trying to be like the opening to like Seven and those kinds of movies, but that's
good though. Frank Black, Lance Henderson,
some of his best work.
Much better than Pumpkinhead.
All right, number 2 is where I get weird.
All right, let's hear it.
You're not gonna fucking believe me when I say this show. You're not going to believe me. Punky Brewster.
Punky Brewster.
Punky motherfucking Brewster. 2-part episode called The Perils of Punky. Specifically part 2 of this episode. I went back and watched it last night. It's batshit fucking insanity. It's like the people who made Punky Brewster did LSD and did a 2-episode story arc. Starts out like any other fucking episode of Punky Brewster. Annoying, stupid as fuck, moralistic, golly gee, little kids doing their thing. Punky and her 2 friends and her dog, or 3 friends and her dog, they go camping with Punky's, adopted dad, and they're out in the woods, and they go to Lake Waxahachie, and...
Waxahachie?
Yeah, Lake Waxahachie, and they're playing in the forest, and the old dude tells them go collect some wood, but use the buddy system, And they go out into the woods and they get lost. And they end up in this cave. And they meet Indians. Like, fucking straight up, like, big feather headdresses, face paint, bow and arrow, fucking Indians. It's so fucking racist.
Indian in the cupboard?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's obviously, like, white dudes painted red, you know?
That's so much worse!
Yeah. The chief is. The two dudes behind him, I think, were actually Indians.
At least if they paid the actual Indian guys, or Native Americans, dare I say, to come out and act, at least, you know, even though it's demeaning, stereotypical, at least they're getting a paycheck.
You know the crime.
When you paint the white guy black or red or yellow or whatever.
He looked like fucking Bronson Pinchot, the dude who played Balky, except they painted him red. Did you know that the crying Indian was actually Italian? Iron Ice Cody?
Really?
He's straight up fucking Sicilian. He's not Native American at all.
That's funny.
Yeah. His kids later down the line tried to say, no, he was Cherokee. No, I'm not Cherokee. I'm from Italy. But so yeah. Anyway, in the first episode, like the first episode is the setup for the insanity. The Indians tell her, I left something out. When they're playing in the woods, Punky notices that a lot of the trees are dying, and she's sad about that. Like maybe the trees are sick or they have bugs or something like that. So the Indians tell her that this forest is on top of cursed land, and there's an evil spirit named Owatagu.
Come on, I want to lay
It ultimately laid out to, oh, what a goose I am. But
fuck?
Yeah. This evil spirit that lives under there.
Is it a possessed goose?
No, yeah, it's just that's just the like silly goose or something like that. I don't know. It's fucking Punky Brewster humor. It's made for like retarded fourth graders.
Do you know why Punky Brewster was canceled?
Because her tits got too big.
Because she developed at an early age.
Yeah.
She had giant tits. She had to get a breast reduction as an adult.
Yeah, and they had her in baggy clothes to kind of hide them at first, but then they had to cancel it. Yeah, so she talks to these Indians, and they're like, this land is cursed. There's an evil spirit here. There used to be a princess that came and saved us, and kept the evil buried under the cave, but she's gone, and you're here to replace her, and you need to save us. And then they go down into the cave, and that's where the first episode ends. The second episode of the arc goes off the fucking rails. There's horrifying giant spider puppets. There's a dude that they end up naming Mr. Parts or something like that, and he's literally a dude who was dismembered by the demon and didn't die. So his body parts are scattered all over the cave, and his head is sitting on a rock, and he's still talking, and the parts are moving. And like it does like a finger snapping, like whistling musical number. And then ultimately, all of her friends end up getting like taken by the demon, because when they don't use the buddy system, the friend disappears. The little rich girl friend like shuts down and has like this moment of catatonic insanity.
I need to see this because I hated that fucking show.
It's on YouTube. And so the kids disappear, and then she like demands that the spirit give her friends back, and the spirit's like, okay, no problem. So like the little boy that she hung out with, his face becomes this like mutated morphed zombie face in the wall where the mouth is wiggling and like quivering and words are coming out, but they don't match what the mouth is doing. And then the little black girl turns into a disembodied floating demon head, and then the little rich girl turns into a dancing skeleton with the little rich girl's face but with like Reagan McNeil exorcist makeup. And she's like, you let this happen to us, Punky, you let this happen. And her dog turns into a giant fucking skeleton dog.
That's awesome.
And then she has to fight the spirit. And the spirit is fucking horrifying. It's like this weird 80s effect of like mirrors and like swirling smoke, but then they shot it on a green screen and cut it into the shape of a ghost. It's fucking nuts. I watched it again last night just to make sure that I like didn't invent this in my mind sometime when I was on acid. And I didn't.
It's real, huh?
And
I'm watch that shit tonight.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Look up.
Let's actually drop that in the comments because that's so fucking weird that it deserves to be seen.
It's so fucking weird. And then like another episode of Punky Brewster came on afterwards, and it was one of the regular ones with no supernatural shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna try and watch this. I couldn't get 3 minutes into it. It was fucking awful.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, but this one episode right here, for whatever reason,
like we said, maybe drop it in the comments, but eventually, you know, on our website, we have the link to the SoundCloud, the YouTube. You guys can always listen to us on Stitcher and on iTunes. But I do want to put like a spoiler thing where you can click it and then it shows it of the list and what movies we put on and why. Because then these, you know, when you listen to this, a lot of people have told me that, yeah, we hear all this stuff and then what was that thing you talked about?
Right.
You know, what was that? Like Antoine was about the monster party or whatever. You know.
Right. Yeah. You know.
What was that thing you're talking about? Like they, you know, people email us. They write in. And they say, "What was that thing you guys said?"
Yeah.
We're gonna make it easier on you guys in the future. We are gonna put a way to where you can listen to the episode. If there's something you really want to research, you can go to our website. You can click it, and we'll put a list of maybe even if it's not like what number on the list or what it was, just a list of the movies we talked about, the names of the
and
movies.
maybe if there's a YouTube video of it, like most of my TV episodes have YouTube videos, we can link it there so they can watch it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, yeah, we're gonna do that in the future. So, number one for me.
Yeah.
My number one. I don't know if this is controversial. It was filmed for a TV show, but never aired on TV because it was banned and restricted.
Okay.
Masters of Horror, Imprint, by Takashi Mike.
Oh yeah, that didn't end up on TV, did it?
Takashi Miike.
Takashi
We call him Takashi Michael. He's our friend Takashi Mike. And
that's one of my favorite Masters of
Imprint.
Horror.
It's the best to me. Cigarette Burns, Imprint, Right to Life. There's a bunch of good ones, but Imprint is the most brutal, crazy one. And it didn't air
because it was too fucked up.
The needles and the fucking fingernails and shit like that. Just the look on that fucking old lady's face with the black teeth.
Yeah.
Imprint is some brutal ass shit.
Yeah. He did not. They said we want a Masters of Horror, and he said, "I'll show you Masters of Horror, motherfuckers."
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a bunch of fucking.
This is the guy that made Audition,
movie.
Visitor Q, and shit like that. Even in death, you shit on me. So he fucking did it. He made a horrific episode of Masters of Horror, and the fact that they didn't show it on Showtime, wasn't it Showtime or HBO?
Showtime, yeah.
They didn't show it on Showtime, which Showtime is not cable.
Yeah, they can show whatever they want.
They can show whatever they want, but it was still too much to where you had to buy the season or whatever, download it, whatever you had to do. But Masters of Horror Imprint, fucking amazing. To me, the greatest horror episode of any TV show.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
The most brutal, I should say.
Yeah, they did not fuck around.
What's your number one?
My number one is something that has a special place in my heart. I love 80s Halloween specials.
Yeah.
And my favorite of the 80s Halloween specials was Garfield's Halloween Adventure.
Garfield?
When I was a little kid, my dad will tell everyone this story who will listen. I was like 4 when I first saw this. It was made in the early 80s. So the story of it is that it's Halloween, and Garfield and Odie go trick-or-treating, and they're dressed as pirates, and they get on this boat because they want to get to the other side of, like, I guess they live in a peninsula or something, and they want to get to the other side to get more candy. And they end up getting stuck in a storm and getting marooned on this abandoned island that's being... Basically, every night, these pirate ghosts come out trying to find their treasure. And nobody lives on the island because they're all terrorized, except for this one scary old man. And he's pretty fucking scary. And, the old man disappears with their boat, and they have to deal with the pirate ghosts. And the way they animate the pirate ghosts is, they've got the normal Garfield animation style where everything's, like, cute and round and all that. And then the pirate ghosts were done with, like, chalk or something like that. And they're a completely different animation style on top of this cutesy animation style. And they're, like, these weird, billowing smoke bodies with skull faces with these long, spidery fingers that kind of reach in and out of the fog.
Yeah.
And there's the very iconic scene where, like, Garfield and Odie are hiding in a cabinet, and this one skull ghost is trying to reach for them. And I remember as a kid being terrified by this, 4 years old, hiding in the dining room, peeking over the divider between the dining room and living room, trying to watch this. But, like, and my dad always jokes, "Oh, Dom was scared by the Garfield Halloween special. How could he like horror movies so much?" I went back last night and watched this again. And of course, I wasn't hiding behind anything this time. But still,
okay, listeners, I'm sorry. I apologize for the lies that my partner here is spewing right now, because he was hiding behind something. He's behind the sofa, peering out.
In a puddle of my own urine.
A puddle of his own urine on the floor. This baby blanket. His
sucking
favorite,
my thumb.
Sucking his thumb with his favorite baby blanket. Watching the Garfield special and crying at the same time.
Okay, maybe that's
And
right.
also masturbating.
Yeah, the masturbating was the difference.
You're like, "I got you. I'm going to own this, Garfield. I'm going to make you my bitch, Garfield. You don't scare me anymore.
I paused
I'm a
on
man
him and made
now.
eye contact the whole time.
I'm a man now, Garfield. You can't scare me."
Whoever made this knew how horror movies worked.
Yeah.
And they made it kid friendly, but it was still, like, it was built in the 24 minutes that it was, because those specials were only half an hour long, with commercials. They really they did it. And going back and watching it now, it still holds up. And you could watch it on YouTube right now, bring your kids in and show it to them. And it's a solid piece of Twilight Zone style fucking Garfield.
Dude, you got a lot of kid friendly ones. I'm gonna have to show. Annabelle is into horror now.
Yeah. She last time I was here, we were sitting at the dinner table and she was doing like little demon girl voices at me.
Yeah, she's young. She's only 5.
Yeah.
Kaylee is not afraid of it. She watched Ouija, Origin of Evil.
She watched Evil Dead.
Yeah, she watched Evil Dead remake. Yeah, she's not scared of anything, but Annabelle's still a little scared.
Yeah. Show her regurgitated sacrifice. So get her right up.
Like, hey,
it's like
I'm gonna sit you down. I'm gonna watch some Lucifer Valentine movies.
What if she says when it's done, Dad, when I grow up, I want to be Hank Skinny?
All right.
I have a 0, and it's Ghostwatch. Ghostwatch is the best horror thing ever made for TV, as far as I'm concerned. But I've already reviewed it.
You know what you were talking about? The 80s thing and everything. Have you ever seen it's like WUKZ Halloween special? It's this fake documentary. It's a fake TV episode of a Halloween special that was on a news thing where people went to a haunted house, but they actually get all fucked up and everything.
Okay.
It's I have to share it with you, but it's very, very good. It's only a couple years old.
Okay.
And it's filmed with old commercials, and it's a VHS, like square box image with tracking issues, and it even goes to where it goes to something that was recorded previously on the tape and then back.
Like Dude Report a Massacre does?
Yeah,
but
like Dude
Report
not
as a joke.
It's like WNUZ or KZ Halloween Special 91 or some shit.
Okay.
And you got to see that. I think you'd really like that.
Cool.
WNFU, that's what it is.
Okay. I'll see if I can
find it.
Yeah,
you'll like it. You'll like it. So.
You got honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions. I got a couple more X-Files. Bad Blood, the vampire episode.
That one's
with
good.
the Sandlot kid.
Yeah.
And it has Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
They put the drugs in the pizza, and he has to untie knots. He has to untie everyone's shoes, and he has to pick sunflower seeds up, and it's the funniest episode of the X-Files. It's a horror one, but it's fucking horror comedy, and it's done to a T. I love that shit. It's called Bad Blood. Another one, X-Files X-Cops.
Yeah.
Where it's like the episode of Cops, like the TV show Cops. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
But they follow him around, and they're following a force of fear that what did it look like? One lady says it looks like Freddy Krueger. She describes it. It's like Freddy Krueger.
Right.
Another person's like Bigfoot. Another person. It dwells on people's fear, but it's all filmed like Cops in the first person, camera. It's fucking good. It's really funny. So the Twilight Zone. I have a couple of Twilight Zones. The Pigmen. Where everyone, the beauty thing.
Oh, with the masks?
Everyone's like a pig.
Yeah.
And she's the only one that's not like that, and everyone thinks she's ugly.
Yeah.
I really like that. I like the demon on the plane. Twilight Zone has a bunch of great shit.
Yeah.
It still holds up, too. The Munsters. The Munsters is awesome. It does still hold up. It's on Netflix, the whole series. I watch the show all the time.
Nice.
It does hold up. I can't pick a particular episode, but want to put it on the list. As I said about Black Mirror, there's one more that I had. Season 3, Episode 3. Episode 2 was my playtest episode that was on the list. Episode 3, it's called Shut Up and Dance. I'm not going to say anything about it at all. Not a word other than the title. Because I want you to enjoy it as much as I did.
Okay.
And you will. It is some of the best fucking filmmaking that I've seen in a long time. If that was a full-length movie, that Episode 3, or Episode 2... Episode 3, maybe I should have flip-flopped, but Episode 3, the Shut Up and Dance, if that was a full-length movie, it would have maybe made my Mortys.
Wow.
For end of the year awards. So. Then I got Masters of Horror, Right to Life. The Lobster Baby.
That one's
Lobster Baby Abortion Clinic.
Yeah.
Masters of Horror Pelts with Meatloaf, where he cuts his whole skin off like a vest.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's fucking funny. His name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah, it is.
Cigarette Burns Masters of Horror as well. I love
great.
Masters of Horror. It's so fucking cheesy, but it's good.
Jennifer is one of my favorite Masters of Horror.
I like that one too. Yeah, the deformed girl that just wants to fuck.
Yeah, she looks great from the neck down.
Yeah. Cigarette Burns is funny because that's Udo Kier.
Yeah.
And it's like a movie where anyone who sees it kills himself violently because they can't handle it. I want to see that movie. I have one that's not even an episode of a show. I don't even know if you've seen it, but that is so fucking weird and scary. If you put yourself in the shoes of the person. Not necessarily horror, but definitely very suspenseful. And the show is not horror at all. But have you ever seen 6 Feet Under?
Mm-hmm.
The episode "That's My Dog." The crazy guy that says "That's my dog" and holds him and makes him smoke crack and shit.
I haven't seen that one.
Dude, that's the best 6 Feet Under ever.
Okay.
The David, the brother that is like the gay brother, you know, it's him, and he's forced to smoke crack and stuff. Like this guy, saying it's fucking weird and it's very scary. So, Millennium, the whole show,
yeah,
very dark, brooding horror. Are You Afraid of the Dark? My last 4 are all kids ones. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Not a particular episode, but great TV horror. Goosebumps. So you don't like it as much as I do. I still like it. The kids like it. The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Good.
They're all good, yeah.
They're good. And my last one is a more modern TV show, but have you ever seen Regular Show? I love Regular Show. It's Cartoon Network. Regular Show, Tales from the Terror Park. It's so good. Such a good horror thing.
Okay.
There's a dance special episode of it. It's fucking weird. It's a talking bird and a talking whatever Rigby is. If you guys are listening to this, what is Rigby? Is it a beaver? He's a beaver, maybe.
Some form
Mordecai's
of
a bird. But yeah, I love me some fucking Regular Show. Me and Kaylee watch that shit.
Nice.
All right.
I don't have that many honorable mentions. My first is Home from the X-Files, but we already talked about that. My second one is the segment called Amelia from Trilogy of Terror. That was made for television.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and Amelia with the Zuni doll.
Yeah.
That one's awesome. An episode of Amazing Stories called Mirror Mirror.
Amazing Stories is so underrated.
Yeah, great. And Mirror Mirror was a really good episode where the guy... the reason this one made my honorable mentions is because it's pretty much the same story as the Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that I like. But I like Are You Afraid of the Dark episode better.
I still have a VHS tape of Amazing Stories
nice.
that I recorded.
Yeah, is Mirror Mirror on there? I want to see that one again. I couldn't find it on YouTube.
I don't think it is.
He sees this weird zombie cowboy demon in mirrors everywhere that he goes. He gets cursed, and every time he sees it, the dude's a little closer to him, and he finally breaks the mirror, and it creates more. That one's good. And my last 2 are honorable mentions because they're sketches on shows. They're not necessarily entire shows.
Okay.
Or segments of shows. First, The Exorcist 2, a.k.a. Black Exorcist, with Richard Pryor on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, it's fucking
where they beat the shit out of the girl because she talks shit about their moms.
Yeah.
And this would have been my number 1 if it was an entire show. But it's not. Hulk Hogan goes to the Dungeon of Doom on WCW Nitro. There are no Hulkamaniacs here.
Where am I, brother? That shit is fucking ridiculous, dude. That's the worst ever. That's maybe the worst moment in wrestling.
It's up there.
There are many.
Yeah. As the worst, greatest moment.
Yeah.
I could watch that spot over and over again. I guess you call it a segment. It's not a promo because it's like a skit.
The fucking, what do they call him? The Yeti? But he's just a mummy?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that all about? How is he a Yeti? But he's just a mummy.
Yeah.
A Yeti's like the fucking abominable snowman.
Yeah,
he's not a fucking mummy.
There's this meme that I saw on Facebook today, and it had a picture of Bigfoot, and it said, "All right, let's get down to the actual important questions. Does Bigfoot have a human dick or a red rocket thing like a dog?"
I shared that to you.
Did you?
That was me.
Okay.
I tagged you in that. Because of your obsession with Bigfoot, I tagged you in that.
Yeah, okay, that's why I saw that.
Yes, indeed.
That's funny.
I choose red rocket.
I think so, too.
It's more of a brown rocket.
Yeah.
It's a thick corkscrew.
Yeah, it's big. Blushing you to death with it. Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our top 5 TV horror episodes. And if you're in the area, if you can make it to the area, come to the live show.
Come see us.
If you don't, you're going to regret it. And
we'll make you regret it.
We will. It will be so awesome. That's the 40th episode. It's going to be as good as the previous 39 episodes all added together. Then
Plus 1.
Times 40.
Wow. That's more math than I can do right now.
Me too. But if you guys go, check it out. You won't regret it.
There's prizes. Prizes, damn it.
There's prizes. How are you going to get a prize by listening to the podcast next week? You're going to listen to what already happened. It won't even be live.
You're going to hear what people got.
And you're going to hear people laughing. You're going to hear women throwing their panties at us from the fucking audience.
It's going to sound like...
Slingshot panties. That's our rating system for next week. Yeah, but we got the Mortys planned. We got our super secret top 5 with visual aids. It's a super secret.
Super secret top 5. Now that with AIDS. Oh shit!
Now that we're at the the end of episode 39, and the live show is next, should we spill the beans on what the top 5 is, or should we make them wait?
Let's make them wait.
Make them wait.
Yeah, they already know it has AIDS.
So we got the Mortys. We got horror trivia with prizes. I got a creature from the Black Lagoon Funko with your name on it.
Yeah. I'm giving away music.
Blu-rays. We got JD Horror DVDs. We got Mechanical Ghost CDs. And we have a bunch of shit yet to be determined.
Like literally feces in a box.
Yeah.
I've been shitting in a shoebox for the last 4 days. Line that shit with a plastic bag and squat over it.
It's going to be fun. If you go there, you won't be disappointed. And then beers for the Red Robin next door after.
You almost said Red Rocket.
Beers at the Red Rocket. Courtesy of Biff.
We should put a Biff mask on David.
And just have him sit there?
Yeah.
He's not invited.
Put him to use.
He's not invited.
Yeah, because he's a failure.
He's a failure, and this show is inappropriate for kids.
Right.
Even though he sits in here sometimes while recording it. Anyways.
Yeah. That's that.
That's that. That's it.
That's
I'm ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Do some shit.
I'm inebriated right now.
All right. Well, as H.P. Lovecraft once said as he changed the channel.
On his boob tube.
On his boob tube.
Tentacled boob tube.
If it smells like fish,
throw the fucker back. See you guys next week for the live show at Leisure Time Games.
Party, alright!
We've got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
All our friends are gonna hang out here tonight.
Alright!
We'll pass out on the couch. Alright!
Tonight! We've got nothing better to do than watch TV. Have a couple of brews. Don't talk about anything else. We don't want to know. We're dedicated to our favorite shows. The Big Brews.
Monday Night Football.
Dallas. Fall Guy.
We sit glued to the TV set all night. Why go into the outside world at all?
It's such a ride. We got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
TV news shows what it's like out there.
It's a scare.
You can go out if you want.
We wouldn't care. We got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews. Don't talk about anything else. We don't want to know. We're dedicated to our favorite shows.
McAPI,
MTV.
A-Team, Longbow. I wouldn't be without my TV for a day.
Or even a minute.
Don't even bother to use my brain anymore.
There's nothing left in it. We got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Hey, wait a minute. My TV still doesn't work.